So a year ago, I bought a little early access game called Subnautica. So the idea of a survival game set entirely in an ocean setting sounded so refreshing compared to all the, you're in a forest, fucking deal with it survival games out there. Looking at gameplay and screenshots, I was instantly sold on the game as it appealed to my love of the ocean. So I bought it and messed around with it, and I fell in love with it, but I decided I wanted to wait till full release so I can experience the finished product without spoiling myself too much on it. A year later, Subnautica fully launched, and I went straight into it and instantly fell in love again. The beautiful and detailed setting around me, along with the mysterious new creatures, had pulled me into the world, and soon I found myself hitting about 24 hours in under a week. Subnautica has this calm presence about it as you glide through the ocean floor with the light shining on the world around you as you gather resources and build your home on this new planet. There's a sense of mystery and adventure as you go through different biomes the world has to offer, as you meet new life forms along the way with unique and alien designs that give this world a huge incentive to explore it. I really enjoyed the early game Subnautica, but as new and more powerful items needed new resources, I had to adventure out deeper into the world, which then made me realize that I have an immense love and an immense fear of the ocean. Everything's so calm and soothing in the early game because you have the light and shallow waters to guide your path and protect you from harm's way, but going out further out in the map is a different story. The farther you go, the deeper the water gets, and soon you've entered the territory of predators the ocean has, waiting to eat anything it can find. At first, I didn't mind this too much because while I was now in a truly hostile environment, I still had a good view around my surroundings so I could keep myself out of harm's way. But sadly, that wasn't always the case. If I wanted new vehicles and tools to make my life easier, I had to go into the deep ends of the ocean, where there was no light to ease my nerves. And here's where I realized why I was afraid of the ocean despite loving it. I have an immense fear of the unknown. In Subnautica, you're not on Earth, you're on an alien planet, so that early game of being surrounded by the wonders of the unknown now works against you, as now you're surrounded by the horrors of the unknown. Now I was in the pitch black area of the ocean, with the only light of my sea moth the SS Booty to light my way. Initially, I thought the darkness was the worst part about this, but I played the game with headphones on, and soon I realized it's not even close to the worst part. As I said before, you're on an alien planet, so you have no idea what is hiding in the shadows as you navigate through the darkness. As you do this, you'll hear sounds you don't recognize from all directions, to which, if you're a paranoid little shit like I am, instantly makes you think there are dangers around you. It is here where your mind starts filling in the gaps, and I start imagining what could be making those terrifying sounds around me. Oddly enough, this makes me connect Subnautica with H.P. Lovecraft, who is one of my favorite authors of all time, which is ironic seeing that he was a huge racist, and you probably think, why is this Mexican boy reading my works, but that's a different story for a different day. Unfortunately, because of my love for Lovecraft horror, one major thing kept invading my thoughts as I was in the dark, and that was leviathans. Ever since I was a kid, sea monsters terrified me, and now I realize what an idiot I am for playing a game that in hindsight will obviously play to every single one of my fears of the ocean, including the worst one of all. Lovecraft was famous for his elder gods, most notably your boy Cthulhu, who is the elder god who sleeps in the darkest pits of the ocean. Now, even though I absolutely love that concept for horror, I'm a huge bitch when it comes to experiencing that firsthand, so one day when I got ballsy and I went deeper than I usually do, I could make a joke about that, but I know y'all already thought of it, so I'm just gonna keep quiet. Now, despite being afraid of the dark, I did this because I had a new sonar ability on my sea moth booty, to which I noticed picked up sea creatures as well. Feeling safer, I ventured out into the darkness and started gathering the materials I needed. And that's when I saw it in the distance, the Reaper Leviathan. With its horrifying size and its roar that sounds like a demon dinosaur, I immediately shit my pants in Alt F4 the game as it came straight for me. So after needing to wash my underwear and my chair, I decided it'd be a good time to say fuck this shit, I'm out, and put the game down for a bit. Now you may be thinking, wait, was that experience really that scary to the point where you took a break from the game? To which I say yes, that shit was super scary. Subnautica is a hidden gem of horror because on the outside it seems like a fun, adventurous game, but when you start getting into the game itself, it uses its alien aspect to push the fear of the unknown into you as you explore the darkness, not knowing what you can find or what can find you. Being alone in the dark with the growls of the unknown creatures creates one of the most intense atmospheres I felt in gaming, putting me on edge whenever I had to explore deep water, not knowing if a leviathan would somehow sneak up on me and kill me right there and then. There were so many times when an alien growl would scare me so bad I took off in my sea moth, only to find out it was from a non-hostile creature, because in my head I was creating creatures that could live in the darkness and psyching myself out thinking those same creatures I created were in this game and they were right behind me. Again, going back to Lovecraft's works where he would would constantly be as vague as possible about his monsters so the reader can create their own terrifying monster to scare themselves. The game is great at doing this with the mentioned sound design of the animals, as even the most harmless of sea creatures can give off a sound that isn't necessarily threatening, but because it's so foreign to us, we immediately attach that sound to our own personal monsters and become anxious about what's around the corner. The introduction of the Reaper Leviathan being so close to the starting area is so well thought out to me, because from there, this game tells you, yes, there are Leviathans, and yes, they will kill you. So being new to the game, you can't help but wonder what other giant monsters are out there. Are they bigger than the Reaper? And in my personal experience, to which I can say spoiler alert if you want to see for yourself, which you absolutely should, but if you have to know, yes, there are bigger Leviathans than the Reaper, and they are terrifying once they see you. Knowing this early game and moving forward, you can't help but think, when will I discover a new Leviathan, or when will it find you? To add even more to that, at the early game transitioning to the mid game, you have absolutely no protection from these Leviathans. Sure, with the other smaller predators you can defend yourself, but when all you have is a small knife and a small ship with no defensive capabilities, you feel entirely defenseless and terrified that the Reaper can come for you, and you can't do anything to defend yourself from it except hope you can outrun it. Subnautica is amazing when it comes to exploring the theme of the unknown in a game that isn't presented as a horror game at first. Most horror games and movies are very much show the viewer everything and take away as much mystery as you can, but the beauty of Subnautica is that even over time you can create ways to defend yourself from the Reaper. You still don't know if you have discovered everything else, which always keeps that theme of fear of the unknown in the game, because you'll never fully know what else is out there. I mean, you can if you go to the Wikipedia page, but you're seriously ruining the experience for yourself if you do that. It's weird to think that this game that's beautiful and mysterious can effectively pull off horror just as well as most horror franchises, but it really does just that so well. If you're looking for a horror experience, I can't recommend Subnautica enough. And if you're looking for a survival experience, I have to say Subnautica raised my standards for what a good survival game should be. There's no greater thrill than slowly braving the unknown and discovering what lurks in the shadows as you take in what this mysterious alien planet has to offer. And without saying too much, I can tell you, there's more to this planet than you'll initially expect. I'm Chris from Genuine Chill, and if you like the video, you should like the video. And if you like the channel, why not subscribe and stop by every now and then? Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.